2024 to order. And just as a point of order, we have nothing on our public hearing agenda tonight, so we're not having a public hearing. So can I get a roll?
Yeah, Mr. Roman. Mr. Mercado's here. Mr. Dawson. Ms. Downs.
Here.
Mr. Harris. Mr. Kurtz. Mr. Talley.
Here.
Mr. Strolla. Mr. Selma. Here. Mr. Haffey. Here. Ms. Blake.
Here.
Mr. Hilton. Here.
Okay. Public, could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item is approval of the minutes for the public hearing from 10:16 and the regular meeting from 10:16. We have a motion to approve from Mr. Mercado, second from Mr. Selmont. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining, or I'm sorry, against? Abstaining? Okay, motion 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion carries 7-0-1. Okay, Michael, communications?
So you have in your packet, first off, you have the quarterly update from the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies. Then you also have a letter that's from the Connecticut Siting Council. This was actually for POCD. However, we received it after our last meeting, so I just include this for you. Pursuant to state statute, I did request a telecommunication assessment coverage for the community. Shows the coverage throughout the town, along with the locations of all the cell towers in town, which will be relevant for our infrastructure chapter of the Plan of Conservation Development. So the consultant has a copy of this document. And then you have some roadway acceptance that are under communications. The first one is Colton Lane roadway acceptance. This has been reviewed by the town engineer. We have received as-built. We have the deeds. You have a letter from Merrick Kemet recommending acceptance of this road. So I actually have a motion if you're ready for.
Yes, please.
It's a motion to send a positive referral pursuant to CGS 8-24 to the town council for acceptance of Colton Lane as a public road with the condition that a maintenance bond be retained in the amount of $17,500 as per recommendation of the town engineer for a period of 1 year.
Okay, any discussion? Pretty straightforward. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Against? Abstaining? Motion carries 8-0-0.
So the other is a acceptance of East Mitchell. Those are the improvements associated with the apartment complex that was approved at the end of East Mitchell. However, it is not ready for this evening. They had some drainage improvements that they needed to correct. There's a catch basin that was at the wrong elevation, which they're resetting, and we're getting a final as-built. I was hoping that we were going to get that for tonight. We did not receive it, so hope for your December 9th meeting, we should have that request.
Okay. Any other communications?
No other communications.
Just a question on that. They're gonna have whoever owns that property down there is gonna snow blow the sidewalks winter's coming up. Where is that stated and how do we make sure?
There was a deed restriction, if you recall, as a part of the condition of approval that was proposed by the applicant. And Mr. Mita, who is part of the management group there, is aware of it.
So the owner knows.
They know they're
fall
supposed to
if it
shovel
doesn't get
that,
done?
shovel that sidewalk from the development out to 10.
Good, let's make sure that happens for him. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we didn't, yeah, Michael, we missed the dates. It's not on the agenda, but
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you have the calendar for 2025, just for the commission meetings. We'll have the others for POCD and Aquifer Protection at your next meeting. You can vote on these tonight, or you can wait till December 9th. We avoided all major holidays,
All the
both
Jewish
federal,
holidays.
state, and religious.
Good.
So you see that there's a few Wednesdays. The Wednesdays are because of either Memorial Day or in October, it was
Day.
Columbus Day.
yeah. So I'm okay voting on it. Anybody want to put it off, or you're okay voting on it? Okay.
Okay.
So, all in favor of the calendar as proposed? Aye. Against? Abstaining? Motion carries 800.
Proceed.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to go on to unfinished business. We have the application for the subdivision on behalf of Blackberry Woods. Michael, do we have a motion?
Oops. Sorry. All right. I have it broken up by the two waivers and then approval, so I'll read all three motions, but you need to vote on those separately.
Okay.
Motion to grant a waiver pursuant to Section 11 of the Cheshire subdivision regulations for 6 lots, which are lots 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, which are located on the cul-de-sac and are not required, or will not be required to be served by public water service. In granting this waiver, the commission finds that the record demonstrates that the request is consistent with the criteria outlined in Section 11.1.1, 11.1.2, and 11.13 of the Cheshire subdivision regulations. Further, these structures will have residential sprinkler systems, which will enhance the fire protection for them. The next motion is a motion to grant a waiver pursuant to Section 11 of the Cheshire subdivision regulations for the construction of sidewalks on both sides of the proposed roadway. In granting this waiver, the commission finds that the record demonstrates that the request is consistent with the criteria outlined in Section 11.1, 11.2, and 11.3 of the Cheshire subdivision regulations. The applicant is only required to illustrate that a sidewalk can be constructed along, I'm sorry, it says northern, should say southern side of the proposed roadways. As noted as the conditions of approval, a financial surety will be posted with the town of Cheshire for the cost of the sidewalks construction, as shown on the approved plans, and the town will use these monies to construct sidewalks where appropriate, either on-site or off-site to this project. And the last is the motion to approve the application. The motion to approve application for subdivision on behalf of Blackberry Woods LLC applicant Anthony Fazzone, Esquire agent. Applicants requesting a 30-lot subdivision for the property located at 1513, 1481 Marion Road, Assessors Map 16, Lot 4, 5, 6, Zone R40. The approval is based on plans titled Blackberry Woods Residential Development, which is a revision date of August 28th, 2024. The commission finds, based on the information provided, that the applicant has demonstrated compliance with the Cheshire subdivision regulations. Subdivision approval is subject to the following conditions. 1, final plans to illustrate the construction of sidewalk along the southern side of the proposed streets. 2, the applicant is to provide a written estimate for the construction of the sidewalk as shown on the approved plans. The estimate will be reviewed and approved by the town engineer. 3, the applicant will post a cash bond with the town of Cheshire based on the sidewalk estimate in condition number 2. The monies of this bond will be used for the installation of a sidewalk by the town of Cheshire. Said sidewalk will either be on-site or off-site, connecting the development to the town of Cheshire's sidewalk network. 4, no building permits to be issued until said sidewalk bond is posted with the town of Cheshire. 5, as per presentation by the applicant and comments by the fire department, the 6 lots which are not served by public water will have residential sprinkler systems installed, and the final plans need to note for each of these lots. 6, the language of the conservation easement, whether in favor of the town of Cheshire or homeowners association, is to be reviewed and approved by the town attorney. Said easement is to be filed prior to the execution issuance of building permits for lots that abut the limits of the proposed easement. 7, the homeowners association document is to be reviewed and approved by the town attorney prior to filing on the Cheshire land records. And 8, conditions of approval of the inland wetlands permit are incorporated into this approval. So you want to handle this as 3 separate motions?
Yes.
So the first motion would be for the waiver for the water service for the 6 lots in the cul-de-sac that I read.
Yeah, I have a question on this. The last half of this, the Cheshire subdivision regulations further that the structures will have resident sprinkler systems. So when we call anything, we give it a section and where there's a regulation for that. Is there a regulation that is driving this, or is this something that we just decided we want to do?
So that was something that was offered by the applicant as a compromise, because as they met with, if you recall, it was discussed at, I believe, the last public hearing. Just for the record,
I did. I watched the video and I read through the minutes.
anyone else was, no, everyone else was here during this.
But I did notice that video, I went to go watch it again tonight, is no longer there.
Okay, we'll look into that. But, so that was just a compromise offered by the applicant to kind of belt and suspender and really what it's the water service for the hydrant out in the street. There's a hydrant within sufficient distance of these proposed structures, but as kind of belt and suspenders approach, the offer was made of putting residential sprinkler systems in these homes, which is consistent with past practice of this commission. You did allow that on, actually Colton Lane
I mean,
in
I
the
don't-
past, and a few other developments, in similar situations due to topography which prevented water service.
Understand all that, but is it something that needs to be done? Like, would they say, no, you can't put those units back there or that high up if you didn't have the sprinkler system? Like, I believe the homeowners are gonna have to pay to have that tested frequently or once a year or whatever the regs say. So now is Cheshire throwing an extra burden on these residents that have those homes where they don't need it if they didn't want it?
So, one is that the reason why I'm asking in the other motion is having the plans note, these people will know that you're buying a house as a residential sprinkler system. And when you're buying a house with a residential sprinkler system, there's a certain understanding of expectations of maintenance and cost, et cetera. So you're not sending a burden to them in the sense that they will be made aware, hence why the final plans and, the closing documents, et cetera, this will be billboarded for them. Yeah.
More insurance driven?
There's a big.
I was just
big-
wondering if there was some regulations that was forcing this, and it's not noted on here that if it is.
And like I said, it was a compromise in order, like I said, the hydrant, closest hydrant, although we have enough hose from a truck to get to these structures, the thought was you add the residential sprinkler systems into the play, and then the occupants of the home, it's not saving the structure, it's giving them the ability to get out as the apparatus
No,
is.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Safety
making
side
sure
of
it's on the
it. Yeah.
record for that.
Yep, okay,
Okay.
good.
Personally, I think it makes sense. Like I said, people can get out safely, they're gonna know about it. It's just like if you put a septic in, somebody buys a house, they know they got to take care of the septic or a well. So for me, that makes sense. So, take a vote, all in favor?
You need who did the motion, who seconded it?
Oh. Ricardo, I thought, somewhat? Sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, let's try it again. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 8-0-0.
Okay.
The waiver for the sidewalks. Okay.
After watching the video, I find it ludicrous that not putting a sidewalk in is safer than putting one in because of the grade. We lost someone in Wallingford because there were no sidewalks, and they had their scooter because of grade, and got hit by a car. So I understand what's going on with this application. I'm voting for it. I just want to make the point that I hope the money goes towards putting the southern side sidewalks in this development, and the town steps up, the town council, whoever else makes the decisions, and still puts those sidewalks in on Marion. I don't think that should be the developers doing that. I think the sidewalk should be put in, whether ADA says yes or no, because there's 1% that fit that, and the rest of the people still can use that sidewalk, whether they do or don't, but it needs to be there. There's other people that might be just on crutches or have their little scooter, and you're gonna stick them on a road with a car, and that's what I heard with, I forgot what his name was.
Justin Stone.
Stone had said, oh, it's all legal. This is lawyer mumbo jumbo, which doesn't help anybody. It's the safety of our people, and I think the sidewalk should be there, and the money should go towards that sidewalk, and the town should step up and put the sidewalk in Marion. Thank you.
And people drive too fast on every road. This is not a main road, but people drive fast. We've all driven too fast at some point. I'd rather have sidewalks there, so hopefully the sidewalks could put in.
I'm really not happy not having sidewalks there, but, listening to the testimony, listening to the advice from the town engineers and the town attorney, I don't want to put any liability on additional liability on the town if if we go ahead and force the applicant to put in the sidewalks. My initial thought was to vote against it, but I think it makes sense. And I'm going to echo what Mr. Mercado and Mr. Affey said. Town's got to step up. If the applicant puts sidewalks on site, the town's got to step up and put them on Marion Road. So, okay. Go ahead.
Just, I know we're kind of past the question part here, but again, this was because of ADA compliance. Because of a ridiculous federal mandate that has horrible, I don't want to say loopholes, but horrible pitfalls in it. You're not getting a sidewalk because of a federal regulation. Because now we're liable for it. Obviously, we want sidewalks. But because of an ADA, and you said it yourself, it only affects 1% of the population. Now, everybody's at risk because of it. So, just side note.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Okay, now we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? One? Abstaining? Motion carried. Okay, lastly, we have the actual subdivision. Do you have the motion, or we already read the motion, sorry?
Motion to pass.
Ms. Stafford? Mr. Mercado, do you have a second? Mr. Affey, discussion. Okay. Did you make a motion? Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? One? Abstaining? Motion carried. Number 2, under unfinished business, the zone text change for David Esposito and Susan Jago will be held on, the public hearing.
Public hearing will be held
December 9th?
December 9th, so in 2 weeks.
Okay. Do we have any other business coming before us tonight?
Just at the appointment of the zoning enforcement officer. Monica's not here tonight, however, we do have a new staff member, Monica Sims. She comes from us, was my counterpart in Meriden, the planning director. She has over 20 years of experience with with the city of Meriden, the town of Berlin, and Hamden. So we're very lucky to have someone with a lot of experience, fully certified. She's already hit the ground running, and maybe at the next meeting, if we're not here too late, we can do a quick enforcement update, because she's already sending letters out, doing inspections. It's been very, very nice to have assistance in the office right now.
You're not wearing all those hats anymore.
I'm breathing now.
They say Berlin, I taught there.
Sorry.
You're correct.
So, Michael, do we have to, do we need to make a motion?
Yes. You need a motion to appoint Monica Sims as the zoning enforcement officer, and Michael Glidden is the assistant zoning enforcement officer. So legally, in case she's not here, I can assist with any kind of issues, should I have to go to court or whatever. Anyone who wants to be deputized, come on over and sit at the table here.
Do we have a second?
Really nice.
Casey? Discussion?
Thanks.
Very happy that the role was filled by somebody qualified from, so that's good. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Abstaining? Nobody? Motion carries 801. Michael, any other business coming before us?
Nothing else for this evening.
Okay, anybody else?